Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to go over gold and silver, do some technical analysis, do our daily update. We'll look at the dollar, 10-year yield. We'll go through all those steps, see what they're doing, see what kind of signals we're getting, and I'll give you my financial opinion. This is just my opinion. Don't take it as advice. But let's jump in here. I'll give you what I'm seeing. This is gold and silver and platinum. One of my favorite. So here's the dollar. Essentially, the dollar was flat today, and essentially, gold was flat today. You can see how these kind of move inversely correlated to some degree. It's not perfect, but it is, when this comes down, we go on up. Comes back up, we come back down. It's very closely linked, gold and the dollar. And the way that I view gold is nothing more than an accounting mechanism for dollar. How much inflation. That's all it is to me. We got the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield. Remember, this is a yield or an interest rate. So this is the rate. The rate hit a wall and it was coming down. We have support here. Wicks on the bottom kind of bounced, came back up, hit our head on this downward channel, or I should say downward trend line, not channel, but trend line. And we've got a bullish engulfing here. We're coming on up. I think we're going to try to break through this downward trend line. We'll see what happens when we get there. The dollar, now the dollar kind of had this breakout looking like it was going to run, and then it got smashed lower. Today it was essentially flat. We're still in this pattern forming at the tip. We'll see which way it goes. Gold. I think gold's at a pretty critical spot right now. We were basically flat today. I think we were slightly down. This is delayed one day, just to let you know. We've got this little line I put in here. I'd like to see above 1840. We got to close above 1840. I'd really like to see it above 1880 and close. That would be very good for an upward move. So the first line in the sand, I would say, is 1840. We got to get above that and close. Then we got to get above 1880 and close. Then I would be incredibly excited. Right now, we are in downtrend. Sideways to downtrend movement. Silver, we got a nice bullish engulfing here. We've been moving on up. Today was a decent up day. I'd like to see this thing close above 2650. We get above here, I'm going to be super excited. We should be able to move up. If we break this area that it's in right now, we could go to 25 pretty quick if we can get some buyers in here. See what happens. Platinum's been rolling over. We've got this nice little rollover going on. We got this nice little bounce, bullish engulfing here, which means we're probably going to go higher. I'd like to see the buyers continue to move on up. And this could be a good shot at a move higher right here, right now. This little down day today, actually this is the 24th. Today's the 25th, I think, but I'd like to see this thing move on higher. And if we're going to go lower, I'd like to see small little down days showing that the buyers are in control. Here's GDX, VanEck, Vectors, Gold Miners, ETF. Again, we do have some sellers up here. We could be heading lower. We got to see. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. I don't like seeing these little guys up here in the red. We'll see what happens. These little black little candlesticks, the opened high, momentum closing a little bit lower. I still think we might see a down day tomorrow. Hopefully it's a small down day and it's controlled. If the sellers come out here and whomp us and bring it lower, we are still in this momentum downtrend, and this was just a little bounce. So we'll see what tomorrow brings us. I think we're going to see a down day tomorrow. How big that down day is, that is what we want to see. That's my guess. EXK, what I don't like about this is we broke out of this is a pretty big ascending wedge pattern. I think it's going to take some time to work its way out. I do think there's going to be some time to consolidate and move sideways to lower. unfortunately. Same with First Majestic. We kind of came up to this point, broke to the downside, and I think it's going to take some time to digest the move lower. Franco-Nevada, again, we were kind of playing with this. We broke to the upside, and then we broke back down. I think we're going to head lower here. That's my take on it. EMX Royalty, we'll see what happens here. This looks positive that we've got lots of buying pressure and the slow leak off of sellers. Another pop higher. We still have to break above this area in the 320-ish, I would say, to get up here to reverse this kind of rolling over trend. Otherwise, you've got a high, a lower high, a lower high, and then if we don't break here, it's another lower high, which means we're going to be in a downtrend, especially if we break below 270. We are in a downtrend, as what it looks like. Gold Royalty Corp, moving on sideways. Nice big pop higher, 10% up day to day. This is the one that bought out Ely Gold, one of my favorite royalty companies. Sandstorm Gold, been chopping sideways and moving lower. I think tomorrow is probably going to bring us a little bit lower with this black candlestick. It opened up, finished the day lower with the momentum kind of coming down. Usually I see a down day next to the black candlesticks. Here's a black candlestick. You could see the bearish engulfing it set up and went lower. Black candlestick, black candlesticks. I like the big white candlesticks showing that we've got buying pressure and ending strong. So I still think there's some sellers out there. Unfortunately, I think we're going to go probably lower tomorrow. That's my guess on some of these companies that I'm seeing. But if gold can stick through it and reverse it, obviously some of these companies may follow gold. Sometimes the mining companies lead the precious metals. Sometimes the precious metals lead the miners. I still think we've got some time to go before we move higher, just by looking at the overall big patterns on some of the silver stuff. I think it's going to take some time, unfortunately. I'm still in this stuff. I'm still holding on. I'm positioning myself for a long-term strategic chess match here. And maybe I'll talk about that in another video, but I still think that the Fed's back up against a wall. They're going to have to create inflation if they get the inflation that they want. And I think they're going to get it from an expansionary phase of real estate. I think they're going to get it no matter what. But if they go over the top with it, they're going to push it into a spot where you start changing the paradigm of people and the way they view things. You change that paradigm, then the money velocity kicks up. You can't just turn this stuff around on a dime. Many people think that they can control all of this. I don't think it's as controllable as what most people think. I think it will get out of their control. Possibly. It's not yet out of their control, but it could get out of control. If you get it out of control, they can't regain control back. So then they're stuck between a hard place. They're going to say, dollar's devaluing, do we save the dollar? If they say yes, interest rates go up. If interest rates go up, what happens to the debts? Now you're screwed with your debts. So now you have to print money to cover your debts. So you're kind of in this area where you can't do this and you can't do that. You're in a lose-lose scenario. So I'm positioning myself strategically like a chess match for that scenario. The scenario where that doesn't play out and where I think you'd have to have very slow new home starts where the inflation isn't very large. Now, the way that you can slow things down is they know they're in this situation, so you could develop a virus where you could shut down economies. You could slow it doing it that way, where you shut things down, slow the move. Or you could bid up lumber prices, or you could bid up or have shortages of supply chains to build homes. That could slow down the inflation because, remember, it's loans against new homes. That is what's inflationary. You still don't solve the problem of housing shortages, and you still don't solve the problem of real estate going through the roof to the upside, and rent prices. I'm going to go over that in another video as well. So I see this as playing chess in a long-term match and positioning strategically in some of these areas physical precious metals, some of the mining companies. I'm getting a little bit of everything and then holding on because I think inflation is going to come. It could potentially lose control. And that's where things will get really interesting. And if it doesn't happen, guess what? I'm working. I still have value in the dollar. Nothing really changes from basically today. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.